Everyone says that once you hit 40, it becomes impossible to lose body fat because your metabolism slows down and things like that. But is it really metabolism or your lifestyle? In this video, I want to show you why your metabolism is not to blame for you struggling with the weight loss. And if you happen to need some help with weight loss, check the link down in the comments and I will help you for the next 30 days completely free, and you can kickstart your weight loss with zero need to commit to anything. It sounds great, doesn't it? So hit the link down in the comments and start losing that undesired body fat on your waistline. By the time we turn 30, we start losing muscle through a process called sarcopenia. And we do lose around 3 to 8% of muscle mass each decade. So by the time you hit 40, you lost somewhere between 3 to 8% of your muscle mass that you had in your 30s. And you may notice that your metabolism slowed down and you cannot eat same way and still maintain the same body shape. Imagine now if you would buy a car with a V8 engine and 10 years later, because of poor maintenance, it's only 4 cylinders out of 8 that's actually firing. So you will not be able to utilize the same amount of fuel and you will not be able to get the same performance from that car. So that's kind of what happens to your body. To give you an example, Hanin is one of the ladies that I have been training for the last 3 years. And she's been saying that since she hit 40, that her body is not the same as it used to be. And that's partially true because as we age, our metabolism, like I said, our metabolism slows down and we can't get away with doing the same things as we were younger because of metabolism, our own activity, our body's ability to recover, because it slows down with age. And what we find ourselves in, the situation where we are more tired, and we want to do less, and we may even participate in less activities. So basically, you need to put in extra effort to maintain the same body that you had before. And that's just a normal thing. But what I want you to understand that it's easy to blame your body and say that it's not the same, so I should give up and just let my body age. That was not the case when we talk about Hanin. Few things that also happened in her life. Her daughter started going to school, so she has to spend a little bit less time with them in the day. It means she's moving around less and playing with them a little bit less because there is no such a demand to entertain the kids for half of the day. Also, she stopped walking as much and she stopped running, something that she picked up before. So imagine all that activity goes out of your day and you will just eat the same thing, if not more, while you're staying at home and doing less activities. So you will end up finding that your body will start putting weight on. And what do I notice with a lot of people normally that I work with is that their lifestyles fundamentally change. So imagine like when you're 20, 25, 30, generally people are a lot more active. We have more energy to do things. So we end up doing more things, like we may walk a little bit more with the friends, we may sit less in front of the screen and things like that. The job itself that you're doing may be a little bit more physical until you develop yourself to a certain point in your career and you end up sitting at the desk at a high stress environment, and then after work you cannot be bothered to do anything because work exhausts you. So part of your metabolism slowing down may also be the case of you progressing in your career and your job is not physically as demanding and you may not be as active socially or with kids if they end up going to school or some after-class clubs, whatever it is. You may not be spending as much time being active as you did before. And that means that you simply need to put in more conscious effort to include activity in your life. So that's exactly what we ended up doing with Hanin. We had to pay a little bit more extra attention to the way she eats, increasing her protein, then adding some walks in her day, and that weight came off quite easily. And we have to be honest with ourselves. If you sit in the car for 2 hours a day and you drive everywhere, you sit at work for 8 hours a day, and then you come back home, you sit in front of TV, you literally end up sitting all day and you're not doing anything to burn calories. So if you want to lose weight, I think it's a good idea to look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I actually as active as I used to be, or I'm just using age as a convenient excuse? I don't know if you ever heard Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. So if you don't do anything physically and you expect to have a spectacular body that everyone's dreaming of, that's not gonna happen. Like the body that you desire requires the effort that you may not be willing to put in at this point. But like I said, that's why we are talking about this, because I want you to get a little bit of a kick in the nuts to get you off the chair and become a little bit more active, get in the gym, lift some weights, to pick up a sport that you used to love. For me, it's badminton. For you, it might be tennis, basketball, football, doesn't matter. But doing some activity and increasing your calorie expenditure will help. Don't get me wrong, diet adjustments have to come alongside that. So let's talk about that. When it comes to the diet, it also requires a little bit more effort. So you have to eat around 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. You need to make sure that you're getting your 5 a day. That keeps the doctor away. So it means 5 or more vegetables a day. To be honest, the more is the better. And you also have to see how many calories you're consuming, because if you want to get rid of the body fat, you have to be in a calorie deficit, regardless how you achieve that, whether it's paleo, Atkins, intermittent fasting, vegan, vegetarian, whatever diet you approach, it doesn't matter as long as you getting a calorie deficit and hitting those 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Because there's nothing good from losing weight and losing muscle, because you will still look floppy in the mirror and you will not be happy with the body shape that you have. Because like I said in the beginning, your body starts losing muscle as we hit 30. By the time you're 40, 50 and above, that muscle is not there and your body shape will not necessarily look that great if you don't work on putting on muscle and not eating adequate amounts of protein to help you to support that muscle. We basically have to eat the same way as you've been told as a child. Eat your meat and vegetables, and then maybe you can have your dessert. Ideally, dessert should be fruit, but I'll leave that for you to decide because you're an adult now. If you're over 40 and you want to blame metabolism for all your problems, you also have to incorporate the lifestyle and lack of activity into that and take some accountability for your body shape that you are in, because metabolism does slow down, but your activity also slows down and your desire to be comfortable and not do anything also increases, and that's just a perfect environment for you gaining fat. So get rid of those metabolism excuses and take action by, like I said, clicking the link down below. And if you enjoyed this video, YouTube thinks that you will enjoy this one. So go and watch it, and I'll see you in the next one.